and welcome to the Butterfly Room. Today is a new beginning, and it's my first time reaching out and doing what we need to do so that we can heal. And as we know that as human beings, we can plan. And as they say, Murphy's Law, the best plans get broken. So today I was traveling, and I'm just going to be very honest with you and have some candor with my day. I had the great time of spending it with my family. And now I'm going to introduce you to some folks, some friends. This is my very first time, and I'm going to do the best that I can. So we have Dr. Diamond, who's going to be with us today. And we also have one of the close people that I met along the way in this journey of my life. Um, and as things unfold, more things will be revealed. So let's introduce, we're going to have Brenda. Welcome, ladies.
Hey, good evening. How are you?
I am blessed. It started a little rocky, but through the grace of God, I got here on time. I just got off 95 South not too long ago and delivered a bundle of joy. I spent the holidays with my family. It wasn't what I planned. However, we were able to reconnect and to reestablish some memories yesterday. Um, as you may know, I lost my nephew who's 18 years old, and it was a trip getting back today. And I took my time and I made sure just for the littlest spaces to make sure you wear your seatbelt. And it was a little rough today. Someone cut me off, and I was a little nervous, but I made it here safely. And the butterfly room is something that I have been. It's been on my heart for the past year and a half. And I don't want to make it all about me, but you know that I also am a guest on the couch with Dr. Diamond. And when we met, the journey wasn't what we thought it was going to be. It was more so me just sharing what my story was because she had a workshop. And from there, it opened my eyes to what my purpose was. And as you know, that we are born, we create a career, we'll have a strategic plan and say, so what do I want to be when I grow up? When I grew up, I said, you know what? I want to be an actress. That's what I initially said. But then I was told, you know what? I don't know if that's going to be the job for you. I think you're going to maybe be a nurse or a lawyer or something like that. And as you know, as little girls, we sit and we decide. So I started to dream and I dreamed. But what happened is, we have a family of origin that we come from. And sometimes we don't know what's going to happen in that family of origin. So I kept dreaming. And then from there, I had some roadblocks. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to forget about that dream. I'm just going to continue to survive. And then life happened. And as you know, now we're here today in the butterfly room where I had to morph. And I want to introduce you to Brenda. She's a fellow queen that I met along the way. And she's going to tell us about the process for the butterfly.
Wow. Let me start with the process of the butterfly in reality. I say about 2011. mm, Well, you talk about what you want to be when you grow up. I went through those changes when I was a little girl. One, I wanted to be like my mother. Two, I wanted to be like my neighbor who was a dietitian when I was in fourth grade. Then I wanted to be like my aunt who was um, a research assistant in a lab. And then I that one I held on for a long time, and even into college because I balanced two majors, psychology and biology, and I was crazy. Um, ended up, but I had a flair. I ended up in retail, and but there was always this something in me to teach. Long story short, I ended up becoming a teacher, a kindergarten teacher. In 2011, we were in the process of becoming NACI certified. That means certified by a board to be having doing all the practices, the best practices for early childhood. In that process, met a young woman who was in charge of teaching other teachers out of college in Bergen County those best practices. One of the things she did and was part of her curriculum was to teach the children about monarch butterflies. And she was part of the Monarch Teacher Network. Well, it caught on like wildfire, at least in our school. There were about 11 of us who took the course that summer, and of the 11, six of us went to Mexico. If you know anything about the monarch butterflies, they migrate. They are the only butterflies that migrate from north to south. And that's the miraculous part about it, them and it. They fly from Mexico to North America as far, now we know, as far north as Canada. And one part of that's so much like us is that one butterfly will fly from Mexico to that point in North America. They have never been, that butterfly has never been here before, but they make that journey and they go through heaven and hell to get here. Rainstorms, trucks, people, wind, all of it. And some of the ones that I have seen have come through have had holes in their wings, tattered, faded. Um, they look like something we say the cat has drugged in. But when they get here, they reproduce, they lay their eggs, and then they kiss the world goodbye. And then the other generations take over. And the egg comes forth, the caterpillar comes out, and the caterpillar goes through their own transformation. And what's interesting,
Can I hear you all?
I think she froze.
Yes,
Okay.
I think she
I
There
froze.
we
froze.
go.
Yeah, sometimes
Yes.
that happens. When it's getting good, we notice that it happens. Brenda, you still there?
I'm still here, but there's another gentleman on.
I don't
Mark,
see anybody. I don't see
You see?
anybody else here. Yeah.
I hear his voice.
Oh,
I hear
okay.
your voice, but no one else hears your voice.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. And it's not God.
Oh, well, maybe you know what? You might be in another studio. You might be in the other studio because we had some technical difficulties today. And I can just say this. That's why I
I
know it's
might be
going to
in
be.
both studios still.
Yes, you must be in
Yeah,
both
you're gonna have to
studios.
get
That's
out
what
of
the problem
one.
is.
And
Yes, what
and if
happened
you're
to Mark?
talking to Mark, tell Mark to go to the next link.
The next one. It was sent about, I think, at 7:46.
Okay, Mark, there's another. Oh, I feel funny. Mark, there's another studio that you need to be in, the 746 one, and then I need to get out of the one that I'm in both. Oh my God. So
Yeah, so that's why.
okay, oh, very strange, but there's a purpose to all of this.
Yes.
I'm almost I'm almost afraid to click on anything to get out of. I don't know which one I'm in.
Okay, are you on your iPad too?
No, I'm only on the computer.
Okay.
If you lose me,
Yeah, just come
we'll
back
know.
in. We'll keep
Yes.
talking.
Okay. Okay, I see you, Mark. You need to get out of this one, and there's another one to come in. And I'm gonna close this out. Okay, great. There we go.
Yes.
And now I'm back with you. Okay. That
There we
was
go.
weird.
Yes. We're learning here. Every day's a school day.
It sure is. So anyway, the caterpillar will change, will shed its skin for excuse me, 5 times. And getting ready for this, I was trying to find. I have video, and maybe the next time we come on, I will have that. And I was thinking about that when it sheds its skin, those first four initial times, it's it's easy. It's like when we take off a pair of pantyhose that has a run in it. We just take them off, toss them aside, and keep on moving. Sometimes, we shed it because we've gained too much weight. And we go on to the next larger size, and that's pretty much what the caterpillar is doing. It's growing, it's processing. Oh, excuse me. But that last time, I don't know why I'm choking. Oh.
Are you okay? You want to take a break?
That's the most traumatic time for the butterfly, for the caterpillar. And when you see it, it's the most graphic because the skin down the back actually splits. And you can tell it's painful. And then it has to twist itself out of that outer skin. But it's now taking on a different shape. It's actually physically changing its shape. And in that transformation, it forms a harder shell, it forms gold rings, and it's like a jewel. And it goes into a period of incubation. And then after that period of incubation, we call it closes. And when a butterfly ecloses or comes out of that chrysalis, it comes out upside down, and then it spreads its wings. And the way that it spreads its wings, it pumps the fluid through it, almost like it's pumping life, a new life into it. So when we were talking about this butterfly room, I could visualize that whole transformation. If you could see the whole transformation that the monarch goes through, you could really compare it to what so many of us go through life, especially as women, because we go through those stages, 4 or 5 stages of early transformation and figuring things out. And then we hit that wall where we know we really have to make a change. And then we hit that other stage where we know we need to isolate. And then after that isolation, we finally break free, and then we look at ourselves and we realize our own true beauty and can really kind of breathe and take it in and just exhale and breathe in it. And I was like, but I started talking to Toya and sharing so many things that I had that I could share with her. I was like, okay, in a sense, that was my thing to learn to share with the kids, but it's also a way of life to share with myself and other people as well. So that's my
Yes.
butterfly story. I mean, there's more to it, but that's if as we go through this whole thing, keep in mind that everything we do is a stage of a transformation. And in the end, it's all going to be beautiful.
Yes. Thank you so much for that rendition of that because we have been speaking about this and I feel that you are in my life for a reason. And as you state, it's just multiple stages. And I think that for myself, I feel that this is my purpose. My purpose is that I need to heal. And my history has been working with the undesirables. I have worked in the mental health fields with youth, and I've seen things. And I think sometimes as women, we are the nurturers. And sometimes we have to keep our mouth shut. And you know that we're opinionated at times. However, that nurturing in us wants to heal. And as I started to heal, I can see the progress in my life. It started, losing a mother, And I don't want to continue to speak about that, but this is the opening show. But however, when you had moved 4 times in your life and you're raised by different women, I had my mother's 2 strong sisters, the oldest and the youngest. And sometimes in our families of origin, we don't look at that. And when you're a child that had to move due to not having a mother or father, it makes your vision different. And what I wanted to do is let you know that all family of origin, they're different. You may have a mother and a father. You may have an auntie and an uncle. You may have grandparents. And all those are the things that make us into who we are. And we are all on assignment. And as with Dr. Diamond on the other show, On the Couch, she always speaks about history. That's our story. But as we go through life, we're going to develop to who we're supposed to be. And I think that sometimes we're afraid to be free. But I just know that peace and love are the virtues that I worry about all the time. And I just know that I loved when I didn't have anything. And I think that how can we value ourselves if we don't know who we are? So basically, that's what the butterfly room is. It's a place where you can come to be yourself, ask questions. I don't know why I'm eating. I don't know. I have an echo, but I think the echo, unless someone has me playing somewhere, because I can hear myself talk. But anyway, today wasn't a good day. And I know that when I actually birth something good, it's always rocky. And that's what I wanted to talk about. Has anyone out here had a life that starts rocky and then it blooms? That's what I want to talk about. Blooming. Because we already just said, Brenda told us that when you morph into a butterfly, it's going to be multiple stages. But don't give up. Today I had technical difficulties getting on here. And I said, you know why? I'm not going to stop. 2 weeks, my whole life was on hold. So let's talk about that. Dr. Diamond, I know there is something in your life that you had and you wanted to birth it, and everything that you can think of happened before you were able to execute it.
Okay, so to talk about as we go through stages in life, stages are normal, right? So we go from infancy to becoming a kid, a child, right? So infancy to childhood, we go from childhood to adolescent, then we become this young adult. So we're trying to figure out, who am I in this world that's around me? These adults, how do I get around? How do I move around? But then we look to the adults to help us understand who we are, right? So here's the thing. Like you, Toy, I lost my mom at an early age also. So I was about 12 years old. That is a preteen, okay? So as a preteen now, I'm like, okay, I have no mom. My dad was more like in and out. You know, I saw him, he was in the neighborhood and whatnot. So I had really my aunt and my grandmother and my uncles and whatnot. So very close family. I can say that. They're very close family, and I had them. I still had to figure out, who am I? When we go through our adolescent years, we're still trying to figure out, who are we in this world? Where are we going? And then as I began to develop, again, my next phase in life is finishing school, going on to the next level. What would that look like? Okay, my next level was college for me. Still, who am I in this world? Still trying to figure out who I am. So fear also keeps you from developing, because I can always remember being an anxious little kid too. Always shy, overly shy, and didn't want to talk. I hid actually behind people. I wouldn't say anything to people. And to tell you the truth, I have moments where I still do that. If I don't know you very well, I really don't come out and just start talking to you. You come up to me, I'm going to say something to you. But I can say, as you're talking about morphing, as a butterfly, I did morph into becoming more courageous with speaking up, right? Courageous with speaking up, talking, not hiding behind others, because I had to realize I do have something to say. But I had to be confident within myself to move forward, to say I can stand up in front of others and talk. So when I get to that moment where I feel like I'm going to go cower back and hide, I challenge myself and say, no, go forward and speak because you have something to say. And I also, this is when I began to develop who I am. Once I started recognizing that my voice was valuable, then I started recognizing who I am in this world. What am I bringing forth in this world? And good, bad, or indifferent. I had to like the totality of myself. So that's for everyone because you are developing to try to find out who you are. And that's what a butterfly does. It goes into this chrysalis stage, the cocoon, and then all of a sudden you come out as this beautiful, beautiful insect because that's what it is. And it's beautiful, but with these beautiful colors and wings. Look, each butterfly is different. They start out as a caterpillar, and then the caterpillar could be green, brown, black, two colors. It depends. So it depends. And then it's all developed to this beautiful thing. And I think that's how we have to see ourselves. If
Mhm.
that's what you're saying, as far as what the butterfly room objective is. So
Mhm.
that's my piece on, what you're asking me. I hope I answered your question.
Of course you did. And that's why you are included because you always bring that extra where I'm going to be. And I always tell my little folks that I've mentored over the years to say, you know what? You don't want to be the smartest person in the room. So guess what? I have to invite some friends that's going to help to water me. So thank you for that segue because this is what the butterfly room is going to be. You're going to hear us every other week. However, it's going to be a movement because we water each other. And as I say, when we met one another, each person that's in this podcast today has helped me to get to my next level. And all I know is I see things. The other week I watched Get Up On It. It was a movie for James Brown. So what happened was he said, you know what? I only have a eighth grade education or something to that. In other words, he didn't meet the 12th grade status. He said, you know what? All I know is what I hear and what I feel in my soul. And that's where I am right now. So I had to call some friends today because this has been a work in progress. And I know that I had folks around me who watered me, even when I shut my doors and when I didn't want to talk. And I know there's other people out there, male and female, who are in the same position. And what we're going to do is, as weeks roll by, we're going to invoke some emotions in you. However, we know the journey. And thank you, April, Dr. Diamond, for explaining to you the loss. I know folks that meet me and they get to have conversations with me. But one of the things that I did in my prayer life privately, people always ask, how are you doing? That's what I want to talk about. When someone really asks you how you're doing, you're going to be honest. And sometimes the answers that we give may not be what they want to hear. But if I'm being honest and I'm telling you how I am, if that's what my day is, respect what I'm saying. But I noticed that sometimes folks have told me, oh, they're just tired of hearing about that. But then you know what? Thank you for folks, Brenda, specifically telling me sometimes they're not your people. Because if they're my people, they can really hear what's going on in my life. Because I am a good listener. And today was a challenge for me. And I know that, a butterfly is a symbol of change, it's a journey. And I've been on a journey. Folks have seen me after the loss of my mother being in Catholic school. Folks saw me continue that education in Catholic school. Then folks saw me that, you know what? I wanted to join an organization that my family was involved in. So I was around a lot of people. But what happens is when I was by myself, that's when I was peaceful and quiet. However, I cannot execute what my life's work is. We have a purpose, and sometimes our purpose can be shook up by what life gives us. And that's really what I want to talk about. And today is just the launch. We are being very candid today and letting you know what it is. And thank you, Mark. I know your head is down because, Mark, we had a snafu today.
Oh
But
no,
you
that's
know what?
okay. Things happen. That's life.
Yes.
That's business. That's the way things go and everything. Like I told you, I was actually with mom and everything. We were talking about
Mm-hmm.
the celebrations, talking about my nephews that have been accepted to 4 universities. So we were trying to decide which universities they're going to be
Yes,
moving to and all along those lines. So they've been accepted to, well, the oldest, Julius, has been accepted to North Carolina Central University, UNCG, App State, and I believe the other one is Western Carolina, if memory serves me correctly, and everything like that. But definitely he's trying to decide what he wants to do. But he already knows that he wants to be go to poli sci, major in poli sci, and then from poli sci get involved in social justice because he knows that um, his grandfather has done some work in that field in the past and everything like that, and he knows that his uncle does a little bit of work maybe in that field in journalism and everything. And his brother, his father, my brother, is actually in the mental health field as well. Has been in mental health for a number of years. As a matter of fact, he gave a great tip that I want to share with people because we had a cousin that was going through and cousin by marriage, not cousin by birth and family and everything, that was going through a crisis. And they don't even talk to each other that much, but he was going through a crisis and needed to be reached out to and everything like that. So one of the things that my brother did was tell him to just calm down because he was saying a lot of things that weren't making sense and everything like that, and to identify some place that was able to be found and everything like that. And I think it was either a grocery store or some other sort of popular business. And from there, he was able to get the units to get over there and to help him deal with whatever he was dealing with and everything like that. But sometimes it's something as simple as that that can help in a cause where you can tell somebody to calm down, try to find something to center themselves and to see something that they might recognize that will help them be found if they are in a lost state and everything like that. It could be something as simple as a fast food restaurant.
Yeah, your goals. I feel that, but I like the fact that today you were able to do that and get on with us. And I know that this is our first week. We're gonna be all right. But we
Oh
have
yeah.
some male view on the phone right now, and we appreciate you. And I thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us today. And then we have Brenda here. This is someone, she said to me the first time we had a real conversation, she said, avoid the distractions. I did not know what that meant. So, can you tell me a little bit about that? Because I have been distracted. Today was one of those days, and I always think about you when I'm faced with that. Because you remember that day and what occurred at the end. I came home with something that I didn't think I was going to receive, and I cried about it. And just to let people know, sometimes we go on a journey and we put ourselves forward because sometimes people see something in us that we don't even see. And from there, I was again a person would be quiet, as Dr. Diamond said. I wouldn't speak much, and I would run when things were not perfect. But it seems to me when I'm shaken, that's when I'm able to evolve and I continue to morph. And today is one of those days I was very nervous about this. I was preparing 2 hours before, but again, I said, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to persevere. I'm going to push. I'm going to push. And my aunt, one of my aunties, she said to me at my banquet, I was honored this year. And she said, you know what? One thing I know about you, you fall down, you get up, and you keep standing up. And when I read that message, I didn't see that. So anyone that's listening to us today, if someone sees something with you, continue to move forward. Because sometimes when we are that close to what we're supposed to, we're going to be uncomfortable. And I know that any time in my life I was uncomfortable. I wanted to cry today because I had to leave my sister. And so I knew today was going to be rough. And I don't want to be teary. But it was like everything that I was trying to do today. And I'm very grateful for you all today to be on this call with me. Because I just know that I was quiet and I didn't speak a lot. And then one day I started to speak. Then I was told I was talking too much because there were so many things that I never said. And I just know that there has to be a place for people to shed and no judgment. And the final goal of this butterfly room will be an in-person group where you can come in private. Because I know that as folks who work in the mental health field, we hear, we experience. And sometimes because of HIPAA, because of confidentiality, we can't really say what we know. And all I know is that for 26 years, I've been hearing things. And as I morphed, I had an understanding of what the lens was. We give out of love. That's what we do. We are parents, we are sisters, we're brothers, but we just know that we want to do better. And I just told my niece actually yesterday, I said, you know what? I want you to be better than me. I want you to be better than your mother. Because when you are a cycle breaker, and I think that without it being said, when you are a cycle breaker, you know you want to do better than the folks around you. And you want to elevate. And what I normally do, I reach down and I pull people up because I heard about the crab syndrome for years. You know, how people of color don't elevate. But every person that's on this call today has elevated me in some form or fashion. And I appreciate you all for being here today. I know that it's our opening show, but I know we had a clip. Now, Mark, when I planned this, I had a clip that I wanted to listen to for the first minutes or so, and I might have to just put my hand up. Are you still able to do that?
I
Because
can
it's a
do well.
message.
Hold on a second. I can probably do it from a shared screen. I just got to get to the
Okay.
computer and everything like that, and get to my emails. But I should be able to pull up that clip. So if you give me a minute and continue
And
the
just let us know.
conversation,
Just let us know when you are. But what
yeah.
has happened is meditation and prayer is very important in our lives. I think that we deal with the hustle and bustle. And once you sit down and relax, we had a guest that we talked to, Marlon Curtis Jr. He sat down with us, younger gentleman, and he said, you know, I have to start my day. I have to resurface. I have to pull myself in. So on the average of 7 days in a week, I love numbers. I can do it 5 days, 5 days religiously. When it comes down to the last two, I have everything on my plate. But I do know that when I'm able to do that and restart, I can focus. Does anybody else do that? Do you meditate?
Oh, no, you definitely have to meditate. Sometimes you have to have that notion of, and it's not always the meditation that people think about and everything like that. Because sometimes it's meditation where you are reflecting, even if you're out in nature. Because meditation can be very calming and all along those lines. Because I know there have been times that I have meditated just going out for a simple walk. I think I mentioned on the Dr. Diamond show, I picked up an app called Merlin and everything to let you hear the bird songs and everything like that. So yeah, sometimes just reflecting on birds can be a meditative practice, and sometimes it's just observing simple things that you see in life. We always pay attention to the very extreme things, but sometimes the simple things can be very relaxing and can help you reflect on life in general. I mean, I think it was just 3 or 4 days ago, and I live in North Carolina, that I literally came to the steps of my yard and was greeted by a little lizard and everything like that. But just that little lizard was something that was able to reflect on its wonderment and everything, because it was a bright green lizard and everything like that. I think I even called my dad, because I don't know everything about science the way he does, because I'm thinking, why is this lizard out here? Lizards are supposed to hibernate. And he was telling me that some animals do something that is similar to hibernation, but it's where they will come out even in the winter and other times. So they kind of like are butterflies and other animals in the sense that they will not do like bears and hibernate the whole time, but they'll partially hibernate. I think it's called eviscerate or something like that. But it's basically where they are only doing a partial hibernation. But then they come out in their wild and everything like that and share with us their beauty.
Yeah, and Brenda, I know you have a whole lot of stuff over there in Massachusetts.
On the meditation, um, I think it was right before we hit COVID. I did a challenge with my cousin who is actually here now, and it was I think it's like it takes 15 days to change a habit of any kind. So this meditation was 15 days long, and I would go out on my I have a screen porch, and I would go out there and isolate myself and do this meditation. And there was a mantra to go with it, and I got to a point where it got to the end. I was then walking around the neighborhood doing it and listening to it as well. But what it left me with was the ability to take myself out of a situation at any given time, and I found myself using that as what do they call it? Um, a pain relief when I was in a painful situation. I've had knee surgery, I've gotten pain. Um, when we would go to a sporting event and I'm sitting too long, but I know I need to sit there like another 5 or 10 minutes, I could actually start my breathing and start my meditation. And when I'm sitting in a hockey game, but I could take myself to that other place where I could sit there and quote unquote enjoy the game and be at peace, so to speak. And it sounds like a weird peace, but I'm in a different place and it's a different meditation. And it's not like the my prayers or anything like that, but it's the ability to take yourself and put yourself in a controlled state where you are at peace. And I find it amazing. I wonder at myself when I can do that. That's
Yes. And Dr. Diamond, I know that you are our specialist on this call right now.
So for me, meditation is my crafting. Just like Mark said, you don't necessarily have to go into this deep meditation, even though it's good to, kind of sit quietly and do things, just nothing. But for me, meditation would be I'm sitting, I'm crafting because I'm not doing
I think we're losing.
my brain is just being used for the crafting and focusing on that and just taking my mind away from the everyday hustle and bustle. So just giving everyone different options what meditation could look like, because I think most people think meditation means you get on the floor, you have your legs crossed and you're just sitting there. No, you can find different ways to meditate. And again, just a blank mind state where you're just doing something, and even if it's just one thing, you can just even be focusing on. Hence, meditation could be you writing something that's purging something off of you onto paper. So that's another form of meditation because it's just you, the paper, and the pen or pencil, whatever it is. Listening to calm music. I love music anyway, and I love watching different documentaries. It just depends on what it is, though, because some documentaries I will watch to, kind of amp me up, but it motivates me in certain ways. But that's another story. But you can find something that you want to watch and you can meditate on that as well. So it depends on what it is. So, as the professional on this call, please find something that you are attracted to that will help you focus on one thing at that particular time. So you don't feel like you are overwhelmed with thought because you are purposely finding one thing to focus on to keep yourself calmed, aligned with whatever you're doing at that moment. And that's the purpose of really what meditation is. I hope that gave a better definition too of what meditation can be, other than just the norm of what people think you're supposed to just, again, get on the floor and you hum or whatever you're doing or not saying anything. So I hope that answers your question too about meditation.
I
Of
love
course
that
it does.
description.
Of
I love
course
that
it does.
description and everything like that. That was funny. That was a good description and everything like that. But I was just thinking to myself that I was meditating earlier because sometimes with yesterday was Thanksgiving and I was meditating while enjoying that the good food that mom and others prepared and everything like that. But I was also meditating because my brother has two dogs. One of the dogs was actually supposed to be a gift to mom, but mom is in her 80s and is the dog is hyperactive. It's a multi-breed dog. I mean, I think my brother said he did a DNA. Yes, you can do a DNA on dogs, and found like it was like some 14 breeds within that one dog. But it's a very small dog, like a poodle size, and everything like that. But it was very hyper energetic and everything. But watching it and its big brother companion because my brother already has a big like grandparent niece dog and everything. But watching them interact and watching it, just the little dog just kind of like running the house and everything is a form of meditation. Sometimes watching the young animals, whether it's a dog, whether it's a fish, or whether it's a cat that may be in your pet collection, but sometimes that can be a form of meditation as well.
Yes, and you know I'm an animal lover, so thank you everyone. Because here on this show, what my vision is that we're gonna have options. I think that shrink ourselves, we put us in a box. And today was just an example of how you can plan, you can do whatever you need to do, and some things happen. And we have
If
to
you hold on a second, I think I finally found that video that you sent, and I can do a shared screen. Hopefully, it'll work everybody with us and everything along those lines. But I did find the video that you were talking about how to be a high value woman. So if you want to hold on a second, I'll try to bring it up on this side, and we'll see if we can play it because it did look like a very powerful video that I think a lot of folks can relate to, whether they are men or women. Because I think that the points that were being made were definitely, while it was addressed to the women, I think that a lot of people could relate to what was being said and all along those lines. So definitely, I think that it's worth listening to and hearing what folks have to say in this particular situation and all along those lines. So, like I said, trying to bring it up on the screen, and hopefully we'll be able to hear it played and everything along those lines. So, if you give me a second, we'll try to get that going. If y'all continue the conversation.
Yes, thank you, Mark. We want to just hit it to like about I think 7 minutes, and then I'll just put my hands up because basically this is just something that I've been doing to water myself daily. I read the Be Still and Know book, and usually depending on the day, I love numbers. Numbers usually repeat themselves, and from there, I just know that there's 365 days in the year. But what really fascinates me is that when I read the entry, it starts with a Bible verse, and then it has an anthology, and then it's a prayer. And it just seems that when there are days when I am just things are heavy for me, what ends up happening is it helps me to regroup, to refocus. And just know that for anyone that's listening, you're going to listen on the playback, you are not alone. And we had great examples. Dr. Diamond explained the methodology of that. We provided some examples. You have pet therapy. That's right now, we have emotional support dogs. I know that there may be folks out there. I know my dog is not certified as of yet, but that's an option. But she provides me guidance. For their folks who love have a green thumb. That's something else that you can do. So just be creative. As Dr. Diamond said, it's more a place of us just slowing the noise down.
Yep. And if somebody wants to bring that up on y'all's end, so I think Dr. Diamond, you might have to do that. Then I can play it on this side and everything like that once you bring it up.
Yeah,
Oh, the shared. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me go to where you're talking about. Hold on, Mark. 1 second. Okay, here we go. Add it.
Yep.
There you go.
You get that. And then I will pull this here and we'll hear what had to be said on this particular video.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have survived storms that should have taken you out. You've been talked about, underestimated, overlooked, stretched, and wounded. And yet here you are, still with the audacity to hope, still with the courage to rise, still with the strength to get up again. That alone tells me there is more inside you than you even realize. Value begins with understanding identity. When you know who you are, you stop negotiating with what does not align with your calling. You stop discounting your voice. You stop trying to convince people to see the glory in you who were never meant to understand the assignment on your life. A high value woman is rooted. She understands that the world may try to define her, but her identity was established long before any opinion was formed. She understands that her worth did not begin with her achievements and will not end with her failures. There comes a moment in every woman's life when she must decide that she is done shrinking, done apologizing for her power, done dimming her light so someone else can feel comfortable. It is time to expand. It is time to step into the fullness of who you are. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait for perfect circumstances. Your evolution is not a group project. It is a God-given assignment, and you have everything you need to start right now. High value is also about stewardship. not just of finances or opportunities, but of your heart, your peace, your energy, and your spirit. There are places you allowed into your life when you were tired, people you tolerated when you were lonely, battles you fought because you didn't know you were allowed to walk away. But this new version of you, this evolved, healed, awakened version, she is learning to guard her space like something sacred. She is learning that not everyone gets access. Not every conversation deserves a response. Not every presence deserves a seat. She understands that anything that costs her peace is too expensive. Being a high value woman means you stop trying to fix everyone and finally allow God to work on you. You stop trying to be the savior in every story and let yourself be the student for once. You stop pouring into situations that refuse to grow. You stop watering dead things, hoping they will come back to life. You accept that not everything is meant to be resurrected. Some things were only meant to teach you, stretch you, or push you into your destiny. You are worthy of reciprocal love, worthy of honor, worthy of being pursued with intention. But before those things can find you, you must become unavailable for anything that contradicts your worth. You cannot say you want a life full of peace and still entertain chaos. You cannot say you want love and keep entertaining half hearted connections. You cannot say you want growth and still hold on to environments that stunt you. You must align your decisions with the woman you are becoming, not the woman you were surviving as. A high value woman practices emotional intelligence. She knows how to pause before reacting. She knows when to speak life and when to let silence do the work. She doesn't have to scream to be powerful. She doesn't have to clap back to be respected. Her self control is her strength. Her ability to see beyond the moment is her wisdom. She understands that not every battle is meant to be fought and not every insult is meant to be answered. Her stability is her superpower. And let's talk about resilience. A high value woman has scars, but she wears them with dignity. She has cried, but she has not quit. She has lost things she thought she couldn't live without and discovered that she was still standing. She has walked through seasons where her confidence felt fragile and her hope felt thin, but she refused to let those seasons define her. She knows that God turns pressure into purpose, pain into power, and setbacks into setups. She trusts the process even when she doesn't understand it because she understands that everything she has lived through is shaping her into a woman who cannot be easily broken. High value is not just who you are, it is how you move. You invest in yourself. You take care of your body, your mind, your spirit. You protect your dreams. You set boundaries without guilt. You speak truth over your life. You surround yourself with people who stretch you, not drain you. You choose healing even when it hurts. You choose growth even when it requires shedding the parts of you that felt comfortable. You choose faith even when you're afraid. And hear me, being a high value woman does not mean you are always strong. It means you are honest. It means you allow yourself to rest. It means you allow yourself to be supported. It means you understand that vulnerability is not weakness, it is evidence of your courage. You can cry and still be powerful. You can rest and still be unstoppable. You can be soft and still be strong. There is nothing contradictory about a woman who is both gentle and unshakably resilient. You are stepping into a new era, an era where you stop waiting to be chosen, an era where you choose yourself, an era where you stop explaining your worth, an era where you stop settling for what is convenient and start reaching for what is divine. You are stepping into a season where you will finally see what God saw when He created you. A season where everything you've endured will make sense. A season where your confidence is not borrowed from someone else's validation, but built on the foundation of who you were always meant to be. You are a high value
Thank
woman
you, Mark.
because you are becoming a whole woman. You are healing the wounds that you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark,
Oh,
for sharing that. But that's basically what we are going to do here in the butterfly room. Shed, become who you are supposed to be. Today was an example of everything is not perfect, but I pushed. We all push today.
Yeah. Hey, but Ms. Toya, one thing I can tell you is that if you study the great ones, whether that's the Barbara Walters or the Oprah Winfrey's or the number of other folks, I can even mention Ted Koppel and Pete Jennings and everything like that. A lot of folks have had their trials and errors. Nobody is perfect, and nobody doesn't have their a game on all the time. Even Michael Jordan had some off days and everything along those lines. So the fact that it might have got off to a rocky start doesn't mean that the message isn't there and all along those lines. So I would just say that the message is there, and I think the message comes through both with what the young lady said, but also where we're sharing on this particular opening show. So I think that it is definitely a great start and everything along those lines. And you don't always get it the way you want. I know some people are wanting perfection every time and everything along those lines. But I can tell you that even as a seasoned veteran, there are sometimes that the shows don't always go the way that you want them and all along those lines. But the most important thing is the message getting across. And I think that whether it was the way you wanted it in terms of perfection, the message has gotten across, and I think it will continue to come across. And like I said earlier, I think that even though we'll be primarily focusing on you ladies and everything along those lines with the butterfly room and you being the host and everything like that. I think the message is one that both genders need to hear and everything like that, because I know a lot of guys also try to get the validation and tried to get a lot of the things that she was talking about. So while it was addressing the high-powered woman, I think that those same quotes that she was saying could also be said to the man in the world as well.
Yes, thank you. And I know it's this because I wanted to just do an act today. And thank you, Mark, for that. Because I know normally how we do with the round robin, this is where we have a piece of information that was shared. And now I guess we can do our closing parts and get ready for our next show, which will be coming. And as we stated before, you have On the Couch tomorrow
Mhm.
at 11 a.m. And we're syndicated on Facebook as well as on YouTube. And so we're not going to keep you tonight because we know it's a lot going on and folks want to hang out. But we wanted you to meet us, get an idea, just get a taste of what we are going to talk about. And I thank everyone, as we do customarily and all these platforms. We're going to do a round robin to close us out. When we thank you all for me taking the time out and watch us and hope to see you. We're going to be Fridays at 8 p.m.
Yes.
And we're going to do a round robin. So I just want to thank Brenda for blessing us today on the airways and sharing. That's the teacher in the room. She is basically the one that I speak to about learning. And Brenda, give us some parting words. And what did you think about the opening promo of what this is about?
It's about us. It's about learning. We are always learning. I have to give you props because you say I poured into you, I sharpened you, but as you constantly say, iron sharpens iron.
Right.
Um, I'm not walking away empty-handed from all of this, and I have grown, and I'm still growing. Um, my background, I don't have a little sister, and now I do. And that means that I have a partner to share as well. So um, we talk about each other as a sisterhood. Reach out and be a real sister and learn something from your sister out there. We mentioned the distractions. Don't get so distracted that you don't see your own sister standing next to you.
Yes.
I leave you with that.
Thank you, Queen.
Thank you, Queen.
Mark.
I'm gonna leave you with something that I heard earlier today and everything like that. And sometimes it's also a matter of reaching out and everything like that. I heard two friends of mine that were at an impasse with each other, and they don't even know why they're at an impasse with each other. They just know that there was an impasse that happened for one reason or another. And one of their friends gave some very solid advice, which is just be the brave person and step up and acknowledge that maybe they did something wrong, or maybe there was some hurtful thing that was done, or maybe there was a misunderstanding, but one of them needed to reach out to the other in order for them to settle whatever their differences may be. be. And I think that too often we don't do that enough, whether we're men or women. We sit there and we think and let things fester, and sometimes they fester enough that no real good has happened, and then sometimes we lose what could be a good friendship or even a good person in our lives and everything like that. So I would just urge people that if there is somebody in your life that you've lost touch with and you don't know why you've lost touch with them, and you've got like some what some people would call bad blood, reach out to them and find out what was going on. It may be that it was a simple misunderstanding, or they may have misunderstood your actions, or you may have misunderstood their actions. So there can be something very simple that it can be corrected by just one party reaching out to the other.
Thank you so much for that, because I think that as time grows, we outgrow folks. And I think that for me, peace is very important. And I think that sometimes we are people pleasers. And that's going to be a future topic that we're going to talk about. There's a lot of things that we do, we want to do better. But as you know better, you do better. So we're going to talk about it. And now, Dr. Diamond, the person who opened me up to sharing. Because a lot of times we share privately or we share to friends, but when you're in a good space, you know that you can say anything and the person is not going to make you feel like you said something wrong. But I thank you for being a sister to me as well. Because as you know, when we started this journey, you just asked me just based on an organization that we're involved in. You said, come share. I said, okay, I work in the field too. And look where we are over a year later. Look where we are. I've been talking about this. I've been writing. But right now, you were able to help me to get the last little piece of that. I don't want to sound too clinical, but this has been very dear to my heart. And now we've done it. And I thank you. So share with us. I know you always got something to good, Dr. Diamond.
Well, you are quite welcome. I think a part of growth too, and discovering who you are is who you bring with you along your journey, right? And you got to pick the right people, because not everybody is suited for you. You don't know that until you go through life to determine who am I and who am I bringing with me, because you have to figure out, are these people beneficial? Okay. So what I would say for those that are, looking at this launch or come back later and watch the butterfly room, know that when you start coming to this room, think about your self-awareness. What am I trying to achieve here? What tools am I going to walk away with? So the goal here for Toya, to the rest of you, is to give you tools to walk away with. So when you're growing as a person, you have something to grow with. So you can't say, I don't know what to do, because she's going to give you the tools on how to do it. So that clip in itself was giving you a lot of information about how you can navigate and work through and get through things. But most of all, what you should have got from it was about strength, your strength and your power. So we have strength and we have power, but it's how you tap into those. So again, you're going to need guidance. Some people are, other people are not. Some people may just even come because they just want to hear the message and then take back what they already know and reinforce what they have. But what I will say is that, Toya, as you go through this world of podcasting and giving information, I agree with Mark. You're going to have your ups and downs and this and that, and your show is going to be like this one day and not another day. But at the end of the day, if you reach one person, you've done your job. So remember that as you go along with this journey. And I wish you all the luck in the world with this. And you keep doing what you're doing. And eventually it's going to catch like fire. And then, as Toya said, we do have On the Couch. So On the Couch is actually will be tomorrow, and we hope that you join us there too. But the butterfly room is your growth. So I encourage everyone to come, endure, find out what she's talking about, what tools you walk away with, and remember, knowledge of self makes you more powerful than anything in this world. You are You are the person that find out who you are. You don't need other people to tell you who you are. It's you that have to find out who you are. So again, thank you for letting me speak today on your podcast, and I wish you all the luck in the world for the Butterfly Room.
Thank you so much, my sister. Thank you all for sharing and taking this journey with me. As you know, we have different guests that are going to be coming on, and here it is about growth and healing. I am just being open to you because I've seen a lot in my years. And as now we get ready to close, I want to thank you all for coming and being with me on my launch, and just be looking forward to other invitations, because you know you can pop in anytime because you're a part of my team. And without you all, I wouldn't be here today. Thank you, and I love you.
Love you too.
Oh,
Yeah.
you too. You're very welcome.
And I
Very
guess
welcome.
now the producer's gonna put me in the screen by
Yes.
myself. Oh wow!
Yes, I am. I'm going to pull us out. Thank you all. We are going to allow this lovely woman to speak about her butterfly room, and we will see you all again. Take care, everybody. Take care.
Thank you everyone for taking the time out. If you weren't able to be here at 8, you can catch the playback. But this is just the launch of the Butterfly Room. And as we stated today, we want to heal. We want to give you the tools so that you can be successful. We are going to have guests on the show who are going to give you some of their personal stories, that we're going to give you some information that can make you grow so that you can morph also, as I have done. I am going to be transparent as possible, but just know that I don't come for personal experience. I come as a professional who has worked with all likes of people: probationers, parolees, sex offenders, survivors of abuse. And where I come in as, I am a cycle breaker. And you will see us every other week in the Butterfly Room. Have a happy holiday season, and we hope to see you in the next time at 8 p.m. Have a great night, and wishing you all nothing but beautiful success and love in your life. Thank you again. Bye bye.